For a few of the projects that we will be creating later on in this course, I am going to be using Selenium, and Selenium requires that you have a driver to use it. And we're going to be using something called a Chrome driver, which will allow us to access Google Chrome through Python. But there are a few steps you have to take before you can use it, and the first one is installing Google Chrome. Then we have to make our way to a website called Chrome Driver, and here we can find the driver for our version of Chrome. But before you try to drive a Google Chrome WebDriver, it is important that you find the information for Google Chrome and that you locate the version number of the Google Chrome that you downloaded. So for me, I have 114.0.5735.90. These are the important numbers to memorize when you're downloading a Chrome driver. But once you memorized the driver that you have to download or the version of it, make your way back to the Chrome driver website and tap on Downloads. And in Downloads, you're going to want to find the version that best matches your version number. And for me, it's this one right here, 114.0.5735.90. This is the latest release. So we're going to tap on that. And then you get to select which version you want to download. If you have Linux, or if you have Mac, or if you have Windows, you're going to have to select the one depending on your operating system. I have a MacBook Air with the M1 chip, and that requires the ARM64. But after we've downloaded that, you can go to your downloads and locate the file that you have downloaded. I removed it from my downloads file and I moved it onto my desktop. So now if we open this folder, we're going to have two different files in here. And the one we care about is the Chrome driver. Now it's important that you run both Google Chrome and this Chrome driver at least once so that you can get the permissions out of the way. On Mac, you're going to have to right click and tap on Open. And it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to do this? It comes from the internet, and you say yes, and it will open it in the terminal. It doesn't really matter what it says in here. It's just important that we open it at least once to get past those security measures that your computer might have. But as soon as you have this Chrome driver, grab it and drag it to your project. And I'm just going to drag it right here. It just needs to be in a place that you can access it. And in general, I would not leave it in my project. I would leave it somewhere on my computer and copy the path to it. But to keep things simple, we're going to drag it directly into our project so we can use it just by referring to its name. So now we've followed all of these 4 steps and we can get started with creating a sample app, which is going to tell us whether we've installed it correctly or not. So we need to first import time, and then we're going to import from Selenium, which we did not install yet. So we need to open up the terminal as well and type in pip install Selenium. And once that's downloaded, the error will go away. So we can just close this and we can type in import WebDriver. Then from selenium.webdriver.chrome.service, we're going to import the service. And those are the imports we need. Then we're going to create a class called browser. And the browser is going to contain an initializer. And the initializer is going to take one parameter, which is going to be a driver of type string. Then we can type in self.service is going to equal to the service with the driver. And self.browser is going to equal a WebDriver.chrome, and the service is going to equal the self.service. So we're just passing everything into the browser, which we want to use, of course. Then we can create a method called openPage, and here we'll say URL of type string, because that's the page we want to open. We'll print a friendly message that says opening, and we'll pass in the URL, and we will call self.browser.get, and we will pass in that URL. I also want to add a friendly message up here that says starting up, so we can tell if our program's doing anything. And finally, one more method, which will be called close browser, because we don't want to have a lot of browsers open for no reason. So he'll print closing browser and self.browser.close. Now we can actually play around with this browser. if name is equal to main, we're going to type in browser, which is going to be an instance of browser, and we need to pass in our Chrome driver, which is in our project folder, so we will have no problem referring to it. And with our Chrome driver, we can type in browser.openpage, and we're going to pass in a URL, https://www.python.org, just to test it out. And it looks like I made a small typo here, so it should be python.org, of course, and we'll provide a time.sleep of 5 seconds. So now let's run the program and see what happens. So it says starting up, and then if we go to our main page, you'll see that it actually loaded python.org, and that will tell you whether you've installed it correctly or not. There is one thing I would like to mention, and that is it looks like we don't need the close browser method. It looks like there's been a recent update in Selenium that closes the browser for you automatically. But in the past, I was required to call browser.close at the end to make sure that everything closes correctly. Otherwise, you'll have Google Chrome open in 1,000 windows at the bottom. So in any case, if Google Chrome does not close for you down here or on Windows, wherever your tabs are, just call browser.closeBrowser to stop anything from happening. For example, we can make it prematurely close the program by adding another sleep here. So time.sleep, let's say 5 more seconds, and this will close the browser before the program has finished. So if we run this, you'll see that it's starting up. It's going to load the web page. It's going to stay there for 5 seconds, and then it's going to close it manually, even before the program has finished. But it looks like they updated it to finish or close the browser as soon as the script has terminated, which I think is quite cool. I didn't know about that. But anyways, now you have the Chrome driver set up, so we can use it for a few projects in the near future.